guys? This is your boy the Black Man here with another video. Before we get started today, I just want to remind you guys again to hit the subscribe button because I'm going to be having a giveaway once we reach 100 subscribers. Your chance to win a free box of the latest set. So whether that's Lightning Overdrive or whatever the set is after that. But yeah, so guys, just hit that subscribe button and I'll make a video kind of telling you guys like how you can win a free box of that. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. Let's see. I'll win the rock, paper, scissors. If you guys don't know it by now, I'm testing Sky Striker a lot. I've been trying going second, but right now I'm doing going first. And let's see what I got. My hand's okay. He goes first. Oh, I go first. And then he activates Shifter, which is playing Shifter in Altergeist, which is kind of interesting. So I called by the grave that, because I have no idea. At first I thought it could be like Grand Maju. Rhoda for Ray. Activate goods. Send fusion. Fusion. Put back. Draw into Rose. Hate to draw into Rose right now, but whatever. Ray, set, in phase. Shizuku. Activate effect. I'll grab area 0. Which I could have grabbed engage right there, which might have ended up causing me. Right here I thought about ashing this, but I still think I would have been in a horrible position. I mean, he has a lot of advantage now, so he gets to pop. I let him just blow up my Widow Anchors, whatever. I guess I could have chained the Widow Anchor. Actually, in hindsight, I didn't realize that I could have chained the Widow Anchor so he couldn't attack directly. Probably should have done that. But, I mean, it still was going to go either way, I guess. I draw Nibiru, dead card. Go for Hayate. That's when he strikes it. Have Rose. And I probably should have scooped right here, but I don't. He fakers, does a normal Altergeist thing. I'm like really far behind. Like extremely far behind. I'm gonna be like minus like 5 here coming up. Yeah, I'm like so far behind. Try to activate. He trains faker. Bounce, and I just scoop. Going into game 2, I'm down 0-1. Now I'm going to go first. So we can kind of look a little bit. My hand is not the greatest. A little bit of a brick, actually. I need to kind of get lucky off the area 0 and with the Metaphos Fusion. But his hand looks like it's a lot of monsters and spoofing, so that's good for me. Yeah, so my hand is pretty horrible, but activate area 0, set Metaphos Fusion, activate effect, afterburner, multi-roll. Best card probably could have been multi-roll or array, but now at least I get to pop the area 0 so I get more cards in my grave. So that's what I do. Activate area 0, activate effect, or activate multi-roll on the area 0 effect. Get Ray. Yeah, I think I'm Metaphos Fusion right here to make sure if I can get anything off my draw. Looking for a hand trap or a Widow Anchor. I get an Upstart Goblin, which is not bad, so I play Upstart Goblin. So now with this hand, I know like if I can survive next turn, my engage should be live. Because I have plenty of ways to get 3 spells, and I should be almost seeing like 3 to 4 new cards next turn. But I end turn, activate, kind of set a bluff. He thinks he's. Yeah, that's a complete bluff. I hope that my 2 hand traps can kind of do something. If he had Mellow Seek, I would have been in trouble, I think. What do I search? Yeah, I definitely search Engage here. It's going to be live regardless, and if multi-roll sticks, I'm going to be really ahead of the game. So then he Kaiju's me, which I'm like, whatever. I don't really care. I have a way to get to Ray. And I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, okay, I can actually use this effective Veiler right here. It was clutch. He sets. In phase, nothing. I draw for turn. I draw in permanence. Not the best draw here, but I Draw terraforming. He said that's fine. I grab my area 0. I activate area 0. He says on resolution. I wonder what he was trying to do here. I'm actually kind of curious. He could have spoofing multi-faker, but I can ash the multi-faker, so he still would have been kind of, I mean, he could have negated it, but I mean, he decides to scoop. He could have actually won that game. The engage was going to come in live, and I was going to be able to blow up his whole entire field. I think I still probably would have won that game. I would have had too much advantage towards the end of it. But going on game 3, noticing against this kind of deck, I didn't really have too many cards to side in, but oddly enough, he makes me go first, which is weird. So he makes me go first, and I kind of realized, okay, this deck likes to play is evenly matched, so I won't set that many cards. I'll try to play around it a little bit. That's why he would want me to go first to begin with. So I activate, drones. My hand is horrible. I only have one hand trap. I go to end phase and he impermanences, which sometimes, honestly, I don't really mind that a lot of the times because it's just, I don't know, it's just one of those things. I really don't mind it. Because it gets a card out of their hand and it's just like, well, if you don't kill this, I can get this back next turn. He draws a dead D shifter. Let's see what he tries to do. I forgot. He summons Mellows. Yeah, and then I have a Veiler for it, so. The same thing that happened in game 2. So then he battle phase just to kind of crash because I don't have a Ray Engrave. I'm like, that's cool. He has a few. He ends his turn on that because he wants to try to play into the evenly match, which I don't know how well that was, but we'll see. So then I draw for turn. I draw a Widow Anchor, which probably could have been one of the best cards as well. Summon Rose. I don't think still don't have Ray Engrave, right? No, so I'm literally playing with no Ray. Hayate Poke. Activate effect. He says that's cool. Area 0. This is the worst time to have evenly because you would hope that I can play anything, but I misplayed it. Put it in my hand. Got 2 hit of myself. Main phase 2. Still no evenly match. Go into a Kagari. I try to add back and he impermanences me. And then this is where I'm like, okay, I set the Widow Anchor because I drew it. And then I go into a, was it Shizuku? Yeah. In phase. Use the effect. Grab engage now because I'm like, okay, this should definitely be online next turn though. He draws multi-faker. He goes battle phase, end of battle phase. He just wants to get a +1 right here, I guess. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm just going to just save that. Then he goes, and I'm like, I don't know how to banish his face down. I'm just bad at this game. Multi-faker effect, activate, and then I'm like, oh, well, let me just Widow Anchor that. So now I think I have 3 spells. I have 3 spells engraved now, yeah. So engage is alive. He said spoofing, summons, what's gonna call it? Siliquist, right? And then I drew Rhoda, which is like probably one of the best draws to actually draw right now. In my deck, I try to pop and pop this because I'm like, this could probably end it if I can hit a dead Altergeist trap. So then he chains, spoofings on it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. He's gonna grab another faker, activate faker. I'm like, that's fine. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I completely had a brain fart. I wasn't paying attention at all. I forgot that it didn't pop it. Rhoda. Grab Bray. So now I can bait out something here. So this is a tough position for him because, yeah, he can keep the Siliquist, which I think I would have just waited. Well, he's almost in the same position. I probably would have waited because your Siliquist is going to survive anyway. So then Ray can activate effect. That's fine. I summon Hayate. I can poke or destroy this. And I can send I send Widow Anchor just in case. And now I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, well, so now I'm like, he has to have Ash. Because I know one of his cards is multi-faker. So he has to have Ash. And if it's not if it's not Ash, I win the game. If it is Ash, I think I still win the game because I'm definitely Kagaring, bring it back, engage, and I'm having too many negates, and I'm pretty sure it has to be our hand trap or dead Altergeist card. But I'm so far ahead in card advantage, and I'll at least have like a negate on the board. So I'm like, forget it. So then I just play engage, and I'm sitting there, and he's like thinking about it. I'm like, well, if he had an Ash, he probably would have played it automatically. But if it's not an Ash, this is literally a game because this is 2 to anchors at this point now instead of just 1 by default. Still no response. I'm sitting there like, is this really gonna resolve? I'm like, there's no way. And he just ends up scooping. Yeah. So good game. I backdoor 2-0'd him, but it's good. Still trying to reach top 200 in Dueling Book, but a win is a win. All right, guys. Hope you liked that video. Please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later.